Happy Saturday. It's December 2nd. I'm your host, Kimberly Perot. Welcome to Wasatch Weekends. On today's show, I had a conversation with the stars of the new sci-fi thriller, The Shift, plus singer-songwriter Kelsey Watts. I make peppermint bark and much more. But in local news, tonight is the annual Santa Pub Crawl. It starts at 6 p.m. at Butcher's Chop House. You can bring toys, games, and bicycles on behalf of the Christian Center of Park City. Deer Valley also opens today. Welcome to the season. Now let's take a look at today's weather.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Earlier in the week, I had the honor of talking to two of the stars of the newest sci-fi thriller, The Shift, which hit theaters on Friday, December 1st. Let's take a look at that conversation. Welcome back to the show. Now we are in full swing of the holiday season, and it is my favorite time to go to the movies, especially to see the newest sci-fi thriller, The Shift. Joining us today are two of the stars of the film, Neil McDonough and Christopher Palaha. Gentlemen, how are you this morning?
Doing great, Kimberly. How are you? Morning, Kimberly.
Doing wonderful. Now, Neil, before we get started, I have to tell you, you and I have somebody in common. My brother, Gregory Perot, starred with you in Left Behind and also The Warrant.
Are you serious? He is unbelievable. He's not just such a great dude and such a great looking guy, but what a fantastic and talented actor he is. That's your brother? That's awesome, Kimberly.
That's my brother. He'll actually be visiting us.
Please give him a hug for me next time you see him.
I will. He says hello. And then, but very excited about this project, The Shift. So cool. I've seen the trailer. I've been kind of following it along, and I'm so excited it's released this weekend. So Neil, tell us all about the film and just what you like about it.
Boy, we were just saying, to do a sci-fi action-packed love story with a faith-friendly backdrop, I think the only studio on the planet that would make that is Angel Studios, and we're so blessed to be part of that world, speaking for Christopher and myself. We're so proud of this film. We had the premiere 2 nights ago. It went so well. The crowd loved it. We had a standing ovation at the end, and it was one of those really magical evenings that we worked really hard on this movie. We wanted to make sure that the audience was going to be entertained through the camera work, through the storytelling, through the wardrobe, through the magic of making movies. And I think we did. I think the audiences are really going to love this film, and they're going to keep going back to it, and the word of mouth is going to be pretty substantial.
It looks incredible. Now, Christopher, tell me a bit about you. You play the role of Kevin, and what does this role mean to you, and how has it been different than previous roles you've held?
Kevin Garner, it's basically the book of Job. And so Kevin Garner is somebody who refuses the devil's offer for basically kingship or dominion in his world. And in that refusal, he is shifted onto this sort of dystopian planet where he is made to suffer. And then really the movie is about the quest for Kevin's perseverance and endurance through hard times to get back home. And if you know the book of Job, you'll understand the full scope of what that story is and what that means. But as an actor, I read the script, and again, it was just what a joy to be able to jump into a role that can almost break your back, and really, to be able to take something to the distance like this. It was such a gift to play, and then of course to be able to play alongside Neil McDonough, who absolutely crushes it as the benefactor. It really, you can feel the energy, and it's one of those movies. I've seen it twice now in theaters. The first time it was a wash of sound and all the visuals, because it really is a stimulating movie to see in theaters. The second time, I was able to start picking up all these other details of the story because it's so beautifully and meticulously told. Again, I'm as well, to echo Neil, I'm so proud of it.
Yeah, the Book of Job really is very impactful, and to see it in a sci-fi capacity is going to be very cool. So, Neil, the
Yeah, I love
benefit.
your viewers are probably like, wait, what? The Book of Job and a sci-fi? Wait, what?
It
Go
really,
see it.
the concept to me when I was reading it is just absolutely incredible. So, Neil, you are the benefactor. Without giving away the film, tell us a little bit about the benefactor and how this role has really impacted you.
He's heavy. It's, you know, I basically play Lucifer in the film, trying to tempt Kevin with everything and all of my might possible. Uh, and there's, you know, it's hard to play a character like this. And Reve and I talked about it, and we at first I said no, I can't play something. I can't play the devil. And then we talked and prayed over it, and then she said, "You're probably the best villain in Hollywood, and you have one of the greatest relationships with God. You kind of have to do this." Because what would, if you had someone who didn't have faith, the performance would have been could have been sleazier, or could have been this, or could have been really kind of leaning into the darkness, where I really wanted to lean into the light of the character. And by the end of the performance, you see a moment in the benefactor's eyes of, oh my gosh, why can't I have the love of God like Kevin does? And it's one of my favorite moments I've ever had on screen. You know, of 100 and something movies I've done and thousands of hours of television, I can be absolutely honest about that statement. It's one of my favorite moments I've ever had. And I got to do it opposite Christopher Palaha. Palaha is one of the greatest listeners in the history of movies. And when you watch him on screen in this film, you're like, oh, this guy's just, I believe everything he's saying. I believe everything he's listening to because he's so in it. And it was such a blessing to have the opportunity to work opposite him. And I think it really worked. I think that the audiences are going to just love seeing the two of us going head to head at each other. And it was great fun. Wow.
I know, I can't wait to see it. Absolutely. So, Christopher, speaking of, this was a film by Angel Studios. Can you tell us a little bit about Angel Studios and how unique they are?
Yeah, I almost want to pitch this one to Neil, because you've got another project, Homestead, that you're working with. You've jumped in. Angel Studios is based in Provo, Utah, and they run their whole business on a guild idea, where they take projects and ideas and they put it before a guild, and the guild votes on whether or not the project is going to amplify light. And if it gets a certain rating, which is I think now at like 60% or 67% or something like that, then it keeps getting sort of pushed towards production, and then it's crowdfunded. So, for example, The Shift had 16,000 or 60, was it 6,000 investors or
6,000 investors?
Yeah, 6,000 investors,
Some
6,000
$10,
people.
some thousands of dollars.
Yeah, who said, we believe in this project, we want to see it come to fruition, and we're going to go for it. But you've really loved working with them, and
I love working with Angel.
Yeah.
Those guys, the Harmon brothers, are, you know, it's just different from the way the general studio system works, where one or two or five suits make the decisions about everything. And it's not the most creative way to put things together. Here, it allows the audience, everyone in the guild that's part of the Angel Guild, gets to vote and say, you know, this is what I like. This is what I think is the right thing to amplify light, as Christopher said. Amplifying light is huge. Most studios don't amplify light anymore. It's the darkness that they're going for. And I'm a culprit, you know, I'm guilty of being part of that system, but you know, you got to work, you got to make a living. So now that I get to make a living with a studio like Angel, I'm so much happier. Even though I had to play a very dark character in this, it allowed me to amplify light in a very dark character, which that doesn't happen anywhere. So I'm so blessed to be able to tell stories with The Shift, with Homestead, and further projects that we have in the pipeline with Angel, because I love what they do. I love what they stand for, and I love the products they put out.
Well, speaking of The Shift, so it hits theaters on Friday, December 1st. Where can we go for more information, to buy tickets and to see all about it?
I think everywhere. There's a
Angel.
couple thousand theaters.
Yeah,
There's going to be
2,500 theaters. Angel.com. I think if you go to angel.com/The Shift, you can actually pre-order tickets right now. As you were talking, you know, this movie, it's about being in relationship. And all the benefactor wants is to be in relationship with Kevin. And all Kevin wants is to be in relationship with God and get back to a relationship. So it's a really beautiful love story. And when you hear sci-fi, if that's not your genre, I'm begging
Oh, it's
you
a love story.
I'm begging you to give it a chance, because yeah, it really is. It's a love story. It's about relationship, and it's about perseverance through really, really hard times. And it's a story that gives life. It's stories are so important because they help us move through our world. And I think The Shift is a movie that will help you do that. We couldn't be more proud of this movie.
And I think, by the audience really buying tickets to this and supporting what Angel Studios is doing is so important, because it tells the industry that there is room for light in filmmaking. There is room for hope in filmmaking. And buy one, buy 10, buy as many tickets as you can. And in fact, December 1st, the day that it comes out, is my 20th anniversary. So
20 tickets in honor
an
of
anniversary gift for exactly 20 tickets, everybody. Each person go and buy 20 tickets. That'll be the greatest anniversary Christmas gift. But again, it just tells the whole studio system. It tells everyone in Hollywood, we can make films the right way, and for people who have a great belief in God, or even if you don't believe in God, if you want to have a film that makes you feel better when you leave the theater, this is the kind of film you want to support.
Excellent. Well, Neil, happy anniversary to you and your lovely wife. And gentlemen, congratulations to you both. Very exciting. The Shift hits theaters on December 1st, this upcoming Friday. So we really appreciate you coming on and sharing all about it.
Thank you,
Kimberly. Give my
Kimberly.
best to Greg.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now stay tuned. We have a bit more here on this morning's edition of the show. We'll be right back after this. We are officially in the month of December, and you know what that means? Christmas music galore. I had a great conversation with the talented singer-songwriter Kelsey Watts about the release of her new Christmas EP, The Joy of Christmas. Now, you may have heard this incredible voice before, but I'm so excited. Joining me today is singer-songwriter, TikTok extraordinaire, Kelsey Watts. Kelsey, how are you this morning?
Hey, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's great to have you here. I'm wondering if this is early for you, but it's awesome to see you. Now, very excited because you just dropped a brand new Christmas EP.
I did. I'm so excited. I love Christmas. I even have like a Santa's helper like mug at the moment.
I love the Santa's helper mug. So what's great about this EP is you've got an incredible visual. So tell me all about it. Have you always wanted to do a Christmas album? And just tell me about it.
Yeah, I really have. It's always been something that I'm like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I want to do this. And every year I just don't, because time flies and you got to start working on it in like June or July. But I really wanted to put together like a non-genre acoustic Christmas, songs that like really spoke to me and that would just bring like some peace to everybody, and just this whole like cozy vibe, is really just kind of how it came out to. So I called some of my really good friends and was like, hey, do you want to do an acoustic Christmas EP with me? And they were so down, thank God. So we literally set up an entire winter wonderland in like 5 hours and filmed everything to it, but it turned out really great. I'm super happy about it. So it's like really raw, and it sounds like you're in the room with me, like whenever you're listening to it.
I listened to it, and one, your voice is just powerful alone, but all of the musical arrangements with it is just powerful. So I love this EP because you had that incredible artwork, which you just showed on our screen, but you also filmed a visual with all of it. So talk to me about planning the visual and how you just figured out like what the vibe was going to be.
It was so stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I got off of a tour the day before we were filming this. So whenever I showed up, we were like, okay, we have to record like audibly everything live while also filming everything live. So it was really just like, you have to pick the best take out of each song. So like we recorded each song 4 times, filmed them 4 times, like just straight through. It wasn't like you're in a studio and you can cut and paste and kind of like redo things if you want. It was like, nope, this is what it is. but I wanted it to feel kind of like the Christmas Eve services that I went to as a kid, where you had a cello and a violin, but also a guitar and a piano, and there were lights everywhere and candle lights. So that was really the vision that I had, and I was really stoked that it came to life like it did.
It's gorgeous. I loved watching it, and the
Thank
music
you.
itself is stunning. And I'm sure each song that you've selected was meaningful. But do you have a favorite?
Oh my gosh. You know what's crazy is Oh Holy Night has always been my favorite song. But there's a song on that record by Justin Bieber originally. It's a song called Pray on his Mistletoe album from forever ago. And my vocal coach, Mama Jan, is the one that recommended it. And has slowly become my favorite. It's the one that's kind of like mid-tempo on on the EP, but it's just I love the message of it, and I love that it's not absurdly popular to where it's just like a household, everybody knows it. Um, so I think that's why it became my favorite because I was like, oh, this is nice, this is awesome.
It's really a unique take on the song. I've heard the original song by Justin Bieber, and then obviously I listened to the one by you, and it's fantastic. So speaking of, you mentioned your vocal coach. What do you have coming up in 2024? Tell me all about it.
Oh my word. Hopefully I get to come back to Vail. That would be super cool. See my friends Darcy and Nick and Hap and Jen. There's just and you. Like we can just hang out, so that'll be super great. But I'm also gonna release a song February or March. I just got back from Canada, tracking vocals for that. Just lots of music and so many TikToks. So many TikToks.
Okay.
So I would love to be able to put together a tour and all kinds of things. So it's gonna be a busy year.
Well, let's talk about your TikToks. I love it because you do all kinds of fun covers. I've seen you crush Celine Dion, Disney duets with your husband. Like, how did you start coming up with all of these fun cooking duets with your husband?
Funny enough, like he's the one, his name's Brandon, and he's the one that like really was all about TikTok before I was. And he was like, Kelsey, just sing, just sing. And I was like, Brandon, everybody and their dog sings on TikTok. Like, what's gonna make it any different if I do it? And so I literally we just set up his phone, put a karaoke track on it, put my phone back here, and I started making shakes and singing, and it just took off. I couldn't tell you why. Couldn't tell you why, but thank God people like it. So that's great.
Well, I think the power behind your voice and then he does the reaction, which I love. But then also he's got an incredible voice himself.
I know. I was like, man, you really got to sing more. But yeah, he's like, I feel like every other comment on the videos, it's about his hype man reactions, and they're like, I need a hype man like that in my life, and I'm like, yep, he's the best.
Literally marriage goals is what you guys have.
Thanks.
So
he's awesome.
Kelsey, can you sing us one of the songs from your Christmas EP? Just give us a quick verse and the chorus if you feel so inclined.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, let's do Oh Holy Night, since everybody knows that one. Oh holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Oh, long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the snow felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Oh, fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Woo, I've got chills with that. I have tears in my eyes. That's my favorite Christmas song, and my dad loves it. So if he's watching, I'm sure he was thrilled and ecstatic.
Oh, play dad.
Kelsey, you're incredible. So where can we go to hear your Christmas EP? Where can we go to follow you on TikTok, see all the fun things that you're doing, and just journey along with your career?
All of the things. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. I mean, literally any streaming platform. It's Kelsey Watts Music. And TikTok, Kelsey Watts. Instagram, Kelsey Watts Music. I tried to make them as simple as possible. But yes, please look me up and send me a message. Like if you follow me, send me a message. Be like, oh my gosh, it's on Good Morning Dale, because I love actually getting to connect with people and make social media more personal than just numbers and social media.
You're fantastic, Kelsey, and I'm thrilled that we were able to get you on. Congratulations, Christmas EP, stunning visuals, stunning sound. You're just great. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. I'll be in Nashville in a couple weeks, so we'll see each other.
Yeah. Okay, we'll hang out. Great.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
So we're back and we are making my favorite holiday treat, which is peppermint bark. And I love this one because it's actually so easy. You can really throw whatever toppings that you want to. Ross, I know you mentioned you are not a cook.
Yes.
But if you brought this to like a holiday party or home for the holidays, people would be wowed, and it is the easiest.
Good to know. Looks like it's just 4 ingredients.
4 ingredients, literally that's all you need. We've got, you need to start with your chocolate base. So I love, every time I go to the store, I always buy the Pepperidge Farm Milano cookies. And they do like a peppermint bark one at the holidays. And that's essentially what we're making here. So you've got, minus the cookie piece, you've got, you have 2 different kinds of chocolate. So we usually do it with like a semi-sweet chocolate and then a white chocolate piece, which obviously gives you the peppermint like taste and texture and makes you feel all wintry and fun inside, right?
Love it. Love it.
But the fun part about this is it actually only takes about 30 minutes to get everything set up, but you can make it in the microwave or you can make it on the stove, and we're going to go ahead and start making it on the stove here. So what you would typically do is you'd start with the semi-sweet chocolate, but we're actually, in the essence of time, not going to melt it because you need to basically set each layer, and we just layer it. So it starts with the base semi-sweet chocolate, and then you add the white chocolate on top of it, and then you put whatever toppings that you want to, and we're going with the classic peppermint bark today.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
As you can see, we're not going to melt our chocolate, but what you would typically do just to get it started is you would either microwave it or you'd put it into a double boiler system. So a double boiler system, it's not, you don't actually boil it, but you just want to get things hot. You have 2 layers, and this is usually, you use this for things that are a little bit more delicate. Like if you were melting a cream cheese, I've done this where I've made a white chocolate cheesecake. And so we put the cream cheese and the white chocolate, and you basically don't want the delicate ingredients to be directly on the heat. Otherwise it separates it and makes things kind of weird. So you're doing 2 layers here. We've got the pot. We've filled it with about 2 inches of water, and then we heated up that water and we've put just another piece on top of it. And so it's a nice, easy way to melt things. If things don't melt appropriately, you can add some tricks to it. Or if you're just being lazy, I call this the lazy girl hack. Just take it to the microwave and keep microwaving the chocolate at 15 seconds at a time. Stir it up and make sure it's good to go. But we're going to go ahead and start with our second layer of chocolate. With the white chocolate, you just kind of pour it in there, and you just let it kind of Just melt. Typically you want 16 ounces for this particular recipe of white chocolate. We have about 12 ounces here, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exact. And the reason I say that, it's really whatever you want to do to it.
Love that.
Right?
Love that.
So what you would do is you take your sheet pan, you put some parchment paper down, and then that first layer of chocolate you're going to spread all over it. Since we've already set the dark chocolate piece, we've got the first layer all ready to go over here in the kitchen. So we're just going to switch this up. But you can just literally spread it, and it's nice and hard. And then you would want to pull it out and kind of warm it up to room temperature before you start adding the next layer on. So we're just waiting for this to melt, and it may be done fast enough, but if it doesn't, that's okay too. And you just kind of keep stirring it. It's starting to melt really nicely here, which is really great. So you can kind of see that, right? It's easy trick. You're gonna
that's
take
going
this
quick.
home.
That's going quick,
You know,
yeah.
you mentioned your mom was here for Thanksgiving, but if you go home for the holidays, you take this home to her, and she's gonna be like, "What? You made
Easy.
this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just starts to melt really quickly, but you don't want it to be too hot. You want it to be just hot enough. You know, if it sometimes you'll start to see the chocolate, like if it gets like weird and kind of separates, you can just add some milk, or I would suggest maybe a little coconut oil or some butter just to kind of keep everything bonded together. So yeah,
Love that.
so we're just gonna keep stirring it. And while I stir this is the fun part, and this is where you come along.
Okay.
We've got a bunch of peppermints right now in a plastic bag. As you can see, they're in peppermint shape. But how do you make it so it's edible and you can just bite into it? Lots of fun ways. You can take a mallet, which is my preferred method, or if you've got a rolling pin at home, you can be more gentle, but you just kind of hit it a couple times. But we've got both here just for you to try out and see.
And what's the safety procure with the mallet in the kitchen?
Is don't hit it too hard.
Okay.
Maybe wear glasses, goggles, something to block your eyes.
Make sure no one's behind you.
You know, you should be a little bit gentle.
All right, here we go.
Noise is okay. Yeah, there you go. Or you can try pushing with the rolling pin.
I'm going to try one more. All right. Yeah, we're going to try the roller here.
You know, personally, I think it's fun just to kind of hammer away at it. Yeah.
Is there a blender trick or something?
Just there we go. Yeah. You just whack it.
Is this really loud?
You know,
Is this coming through loud?
People love kitchen noises. We are just going at it.
All right.
It's obviously a lot more exciting than me stirring white chocolate as it continues to melt.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Ross, I don't know what you're.
Just kidding.
I mean, to me, you look like you're a pretty good cook right now. I
Oh,
don't know
man.
about this hammering
We're halfway
method.
there on these.
So we're doing great. The double boiler is perfect temperature. If you look at our white chocolate here, you can see it's just melting really nicely. I think we're going to add a little. I didn't add the whole bag because I wanted to make sure this was melting just well enough, but we're going to add a little bit more. Looks like I almost put the whole bag in there. And then as we continue to do this, the closer it gets to melting down, the last ingredient, we've got our dark chocolate, our white chocolate, our peppermints, and you mentioned it was 4 ingredients. The last ingredient to add a little bit more flavor to it is the peppermint extract.
Love that.
So we're only adding it to the white chocolate layer. As we continue to stir this white chocolate and you keep hammering away, we are getting after it. I say it's quick and easy, it really is. The only thing for this one is that you've got to put it, each layer has to set for about 30 minutes, and you want to make sure that it's completely cold before you pull it out, just so it gives the layers time to bond together. Otherwise, the white chocolate might separate from the dark chocolate.
I will say, I think this is a great job for the children in the kitchen.
Well,
This
you
is
gotta
Ziploc
watch out for
bag
little
and a hammer.
fingers.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, this white chocolate melt is looking fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. So typically your recipe would be 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, 16 ounces of the white chocolate. We did a bag of 12 ounces, but it really doesn't matter. Again, it really doesn't. And then you're doing about a half a teaspoon of peppermint extract, kind of like I do my vanilla extract. I don't really measure it that well. So we're just going to dump some in. All right. While we are setting this up, I just poured my peppermint extract in. I'm going to mix it all up, and then we'll be right back with the finished product after this. Made it. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out here. You want to make sure that it sets for about 30 minutes, the two different layers, so they can really meld together. Now, it doesn't matter what it looks like when it's in whole form because you're going to be breaking it up into pieces.
Right.
You know, I love breaking this up and then putting it in a really nice, like, Christmas tin so you can give it away as gifts, or if you just want to eat the leftovers. But the best way to do this, to break it up into pieces, is to actually take a knife. You would think you want to take your hands and just break it, but if you use a knife, it makes sure that the layers stay together. Because if you break it with your hands, you know, you might get white chocolate and a dark chocolate piece, and then it's not all together. But it's really easy. It just peels right off of the parchment paper like that. And then all you have to do is take a knife. You can just break it in different sizes, and it's delicious. It's pretty good. You did a great job.
Peppermint looks amazing.
I'd say you can see the shine, the sparkle of all the peppermint pieces. But one of the fun things about this too, you can put M&Ms on it, you can throw pretzel pieces, you can put nuts, maybe dried fruit, whatever you want, and just make it a delicious thing. You don't even have to use two types of chocolate. So this is just a fun party trick. You can melt it in the microwave if you're not a kitchen person. Earlier in the week, Gretchen had a conversation with YD Event Management about destination weddings and how it can really be a great thing to plan.
I am so excited to introduce Yana D for YD Event Management. We're going to talk about all things destination weddings. How are you doing, Yana?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm so well. I love your hair. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you're having a
Nice
great...
to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, I heard that we were talking all things destination weddings, and I have so many questions for you. Are destination weddings a big thing right now?
It's actually undeniably huge, especially in US and in general, because destination weddings provide an opportunity to get married in unique and remarkable places.
Yeah. I was wondering because... Oh, go ahead.
No.
One of my girlfriends is doing a destination wedding next year in Mexico, and she was so excited about this because it took away kind of the stress of trying to, a lot of destination weddings, and tell me if I'm wrong, kind of take out the middleman where you can have your flowers, your food, everything kind of provided for you through whoever you're using at the resort. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, of course, the destination weddings, they typically involve booking all accommodations for couple and, of course, the guests. And usually this fee includes the cost of using the venue, the catering, and other services. So, of course, it does, but as well, you should take into consideration that there is the shipment fee if you're doing it in a remote location or something, so it might be a little challenging.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and the other thing, and this is kind of funny, but she was saying with destination weddings, a lot of time when you're not exactly sure how many people you can invite, it kind of helps with that a little bit as well, because that way, unless people can go, you know, it kind of takes away that stress. Because sometimes, you know, people don't have enough money to go. That sounds awful, but the true story.
Unfortunately, you should take it into consideration because usually it's such a big thing, as people might not travel due to maybe inconvenience,
Right.
or of course the cost effective. However, usually if it's a close list of friends, they might make it, or maybe if couple adding it to their budget and they help to sponsor the tickets.
Right on. And
For the-
Yana, where are some of the most unique and beautiful destination places that you've seen or heard of?
I would definitely say it's a Lake Como,
Yes.
Hawaii, Maldives, maybe some kind of mountains in Switzerland.
Cool.
There's a different chalets if they want to do like fairy tale weddings. Yeah, Tuscany as well, the most beautiful place. And I did love Greece
Oh,
for
wow.
sure. It's
I-
spectacular. Has spectacular views.
You're making me so excited to travel. This is, it's very, very exciting. And I know that the destination weddings now, because of COVID, obviously is still around, but we have more of a handle on it. People are able to get up and travel. Do you think that's a big part of why destination weddings are a big moment right now? Because people are just stoked to travel again?
Well, this is an ever-evolving change in preferences for modern couples who favor unique and unconventional experience over traditional weddings. And of course, destination weddings provide an opportunity to get married in a unique and remarkable places with amazing backdrops. Either it's a beach, historic place, maybe castle, tropical mountain or tropical island or mountain resort, and destination itself becomes a memorable backdrop for the event, either it's wedding or the venue. So after COVID, everyone would like to go and live that moment,
Right.
feel those emotions, and enjoy that beautiful view and maybe change of the scenery from their hometown or whenever they are based in.
Yana, how did you get involved with all of this? Did you wake up one day and you're like, this is what I want to do. I love weddings. I love destinations. I'm going to help people get married. How did that come to be?
I was at my sister's wedding, and it was not a very great experience with her wedding planner. I was like, I could do so better. And then I decided, yeah, why not? I was doing a corporate event, and I thought I would learn something, as I felt like I'm so creative and I want to create magic for other people.
Cool.
So I've decided to establish my own business and create magic all over the world for our clients. But everything started from my sister wedding.
I love that you're so honest about it. You're like, I could do so much better than this. Like, what are you paying for? That's awesome.
Yeah, fortunately. That is why I'm making sure that our clients never ever face anything like that.
Like that again. Did you redo your sister's wedding? Could you do like a vow renewal and you can plan the whole thing?
Actually, we were doing it this year.
Really? That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, Yana,
It's going to be 5 years, so we're doing like new vowels.
I love that. I love it. Well, Yana, you're amazing. Where can people get more information and if they want to use you for their destination wedding?
Sure, they can just go on our website. They have all the details there, like info@yanadevent.com,
Okay.
or just directly on the website. They can just drop us email or WhatsApp. We are pretty much connected on Instagram as well.
Cool. Thank you so much for your time, and you seem lovely, and I'm so excited. Hopefully we can talk to you again and see and hear about all the other weddings that you've done and the vow renewals as well. Have a great
Deal.
Thanks, Yana. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's December and it is open enrollment season. If you're on Medicaid or Medicare or have some questions around it, I had a conversation about open enrollment, which ends December 7th, and more. Let's take a look. It's the end of November and we are rolling into December, and what that typically means is open enrollment. Joining me today to talk about how you can be aware of this with Medicare and Medicaid, as well as upcoming changes into the program and how to compare costs, is Dr. Mina Seishamane, who is the director of the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services. How are you?
I'm doing well, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Well, so this is a very important time of year, especially for the 65 million Americans that are enrolled in the Medicare and Medicaid program. So why is open enrollment so important?
Yes, open enrollment is very important for people in the Medicare program, and that's people who are age 65 and older, people with disabilities, and people with end-stage kidney disease. Because it's important to look at your options to see what works best for your health needs and your financial situation. You know, people's health needs change every year and their finances change every year. And the options available also change every year, including some very important changes to the Medicare program that I hope we'll talk about. So it is very important for people to take this opportunity to see what option works best for them, because there may be something that can keep them healthier and help them to save money.
Absolutely. It's very important to know that things change. You don't necessarily have to stay with the same plan year after year. So you briefly mentioned who participates, but can you give us a little more detail around that?
Yes. So the Medicare program is for people, is for roughly 65 million people in this country, people age 65 and older, people with disabilities, and people with end-stage kidney disease. And we know that a lot of people in this cohort have health needs, have financial considerations. So that's why it is so important to go to Medicare.gov or to call us at 1-800-MEDICARE to be able to go to the official source to figure out what option works best for them.
Well, you have such an important job. So talk to us about the new Medicare programs that are coming out.
I'm very excited for the changes in the Medicare program, because as a physician, I know how life-changing they are. Number one, right now, people in Medicare in the prescription drug program do not have to pay more than $35 a month for a covered insulin, which is huge. Number two, right now, people in Medicare do not pay anything out of their own pocket to get a recommended vaccine, like shingles or RSV or tetanus. And starting in 2024, January 1st, 2024, thanks to the new drug law, we are expanding eligibility for financial assistance. We estimate that there are 3 million people eligible for financial assistance for prescription drug costs who are not enrolled. So it is so important during this open enrollment period. If you're having trouble paying your prescription drug costs, go to Medicare.gov or call us at 1-800-MEDICARE to see if you're eligible. And the last big change coming January 1st, 2024, again, all of this is thanks to the new drug law, is that for people who take high-cost prescription drugs, when they enter what's called a catastrophic phase of their prescription drug benefit, they no longer pay anything out of pocket. So that's why it's so important for people to learn about these changes and to see how it can benefit them.
It's really incredible, and I love the new drug law can help people pay for their prescription drugs if they are not enrolled in the program. So, speaking of the program, there are many options out there. How do you know what to do, and how can you compare all of the options?
Yeah, so I'm sure that many of you have seen the TV ads, etc. It is important to remember that Medicare.gov and 1-800-MEDICARE are the official sources of information on options in the Medicare program. If you go to Medicare.gov, you can click Get Started with Medicare, and it explains the basics of the Medicare program. There's traditional Medicare, which is through the government, where you can see any healthcare provider in the country who participates in the Medicare program. That's roughly 98% of healthcare providers. Medicare Advantage is where Medicare partners with a private health plan. So you have to use a healthcare provider that contracts with that health plan, is in the network of that health plan. And you could get some additional benefits like dental, hearing, or vision. From there, you can go to Plan Finder in the Medicare.gov website, and you can input your specific healthcare information to get a personalized side-by-side comparison of different options to see what works best for you. And if you need additional information and help, you can always call us at 1-800-MEDICARE. We are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to navigate your choices to pick what works best for you.
Oh, there are so many options, and it's wonderful that you can tailor and find the best program that works. So speaking of open enrollment, when does it end? Tell me all about it, and what happens if we miss the deadline?
Yes, it is important to act now because open enrollment ends on December 7th. If you miss the deadline of December 7th, you will have to wait until the following year open enrollment to see if there could be an option that's better for you, which means that you might miss out on an option that could keep you healthier and help you save money. So that is why it is so important that we're talking about this so that everybody can go and pick what works best for them.
So traditional Medicare open enrollment ends December 7th, and we talked about the new drug law. So where can we go to find more information about comparing those drug costs?
You can go to medicare.gov. You can call us at 1-800-MEDICARE. And if you want more personalized local help in navigating your options, you can go to your state health insurance program. If you go to shiphelp.org, that's SHIP as in Peter, help.org, you can get a list of community counselors in your area who are available to walk you through your options and talk with you about your healthcare costs. So that is also another very important resource for people.
Well, Dr. Mina, one more time, if we don't know where to start or how to change things, where do we go for more information? And if you wouldn't mind telling us the phone number one more time as well.
Yes, medicare.gov and 1-800-MEDICARE. We are here to help you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing the information, for spreading the word, getting on here and telling people that it is not difficult and you are there to guide. We appreciate all that you're doing to provide Medicaid and Medicare services to the Americans that need it here. We appreciate you.
Thank you again for having me and for your help in getting the word out.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
It was a busy Saturday morning here on Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Kimberly Pro. It was a pleasure to spend the morning with you. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more tomorrow.